So let me get on the rest of these waiting lists. This is the first hand being played right here. Oh, god damn it, I just got off the waiting list. Free flop, gut shot. Pair. Is it mine? Win the first hand of the day. Nice. King 7, limp on the button, huh? Okay. All right, well. Some people are into that, I guess. Let's move this over here. That looks pretty good. And it looks like there are 1, 2, 3 more tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3 more tables, so it won't be too hectic, but let's go to the table options, settings, game display, status bar. Trying to get this number to 500. When it says 500 points to elite, we're fine. Hey, no waiting for big blind. Let's get in there. Doing pretty good, feeling pretty good. Definitely ready to progress this challenge to the next level, which, you know, sometimes things just obsess on me, so I haven't been able to focus for the tournaments because I've been wanting to just progress the cash game challenge. So that's what I'm going to do. I find it not very helpful to fight your strongest instincts. Alright, we're going to get called here 100% of the... Whoa, I did not think that was a... Whoa, okay, alright. My man's just playing everything, but has some kind of requirements for calling raises. Okay, sure. Maybe not. Let's play a baby. Little baby cards. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Ooh. Spicy. Big old overbet. It's improper. If this player wasn't in, I would just put this guy in and gamble, but because T-Quads is there, there we go. 7-8. He's got the gut shot. Wow. Wow. Talk about a bad play. I mean, open-ender. It's only a bad play because without the heart draw, like, you should know you're up against a pair. Like, I mean, I get it. You don't really want to call there for that big, but I think I'd rather have the combo draw, like pair and gut shot. Something like, I guess there isn't one. Whatever. I don't think I would have folded the ace high flush draw. I think I would have just jammed it. I'm going to check once. Ace in the turn is either really good or really bad. That's a problem. I don't really care if he's tilty. We can have it. Ooh, there's another table. Yeah. Do I want a six-handed table? I cannot decide. Let me put this Courtney's doing somebody's nails in the other room, so if you hear any of that, that's what's going on. King ball's pretty good. I think we're just going to call. Ace kind of sucks. Take it. Should have check raised the flop, probably. And again, maybe the ace saved me. Could have had ace king or king queen or something. That would have been all bad. Take it. I mean, this isn't the only point of bluffing. This would be to end the hand. Like, there's not even a point here to betting. The min raise. I love the min raise. Just calls with a flush. Oh my god. Don't love it, but I am on the button. And this player... Oh, look at that. I got queens. I didn't even see it. I was going to say this player is going to call very wide. Ace is probably a good card. The min bet's hilarious. Like, I don't know what this is. This is definitely like... It can definitely be like ace king. Ace jack. Like, why would you just call this bet? I mean, if he has ace queen, it kind of really sucks. Can he really check raise me with a hand I can beat? I don't think so. 6 on the river. I'm just going to check it. Yeah, great play, bro. You got the minimum. Minimum. If he jams the turn, I can theoretically call. But, like, way to play, bro. Like, what? Like, you don't even, like... If I bet the river, you going to raise, or are you just going to totally punk out because I might have a full house? Ugh. Like, that's just gross. I mean, and I know I should have bet the flop. But, I don't know. I was so focused on the other guy that I was, you know, I lost sight of the original raiser. But, lost the minimum. Oh, I see another one. Nice. 6 tables ain't bad. Got it. Okay. Get check raised. If you had a full stack, maybe. But I mean, I could have just checked it for sure. Because it's not like he has to have something good there. Yeah, probably should have bet that flop. Might get some more tables up. No. 3-bet. I mean, just going to get priced in because of this player all day. Ooh, deuce, backdoor flush. So I should have 11 outs once, 22%, 25%. Yep. Had 11 outs once, had the right odds to break even. Didn't have odds to make money, had odds to break even. Maybe the flop call was a little loose, but I think it's okay. Not like I won't get it back. Get 3-bet. Same guy. Check raised me before. Okay. Fold. Why does he have to pick up outs? Can't believe it held. He's not wrong. Pretty good flop for ace queen, even three ways. Okay. The funny part about this one is I'm representing exactly ace queen, so like there's not a lot for him to have, but a lot of times people will think you're just full of crap. Hello. What are you leading at? You don't control the size of the pot. I control the size of the pot. I'm the raiser. Now, if he had check raised jam, that's a different story. But it's just so obviously a draw. I mean, picking up a pair on the turn is huge, but why not just check call? I mean, you don't have to get the money in there. And like when you lead out into me after that betting structure, about 60% of the time you're just going to get jammed on. Just flops it. Just opens, calls the 3-bet, and flops it. That's brilliant. It's so frustrating. It's just annoying. Hit it. Ooh, I hit it. I'm not really afraid of the flush here. Like, everything gets there. But I think this player expects me to overbet when I have it, so I think I get paid off. I've kind of abused this player by smacking them with overbets. So, not this player, but I tend to go through phases where for a few days I'll just go for the massive overbets. And then after they get called a few times and they stop getting called, I'll bluff with them. And then after they get called with bluffing, I'll start value betting. And it's just one of those things that I kind of cycle through in a small player pool. That's good to do. Take longer. I won't bet, don't worry. Just because I have the range advantage, draw, and the nut advantage. Don't worry, I won't bet if you take a long time. Fucking idiot. Dun, 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 dun. Boop. Let me check out this shit. What do we got? 15 more days the month to get another 500 points. That's pretty reasonable. It's like what? 30 points a day? I think that's pretty reasonable. Should be more tables coming up. Yeah, any minute now. Yeah. I think we'll just go with it. Why are you calling? Yeah, just gotta bet twice. Just gotta bet twice. It really, like this site, it really is a training ground for barreling. Because everybody calls the flop and nobody continues on the turn. Like, it's hilarious. Like, there's no qualifiers to when people call on the flop. And I think I might be the only person checking on the flop without, like, just a monster. It's kind of hilarious. Ugh, fucking thing fucked up again. Can that fucking stay there? Thank you. Jesus. This is not a good bet. Illustrated by the fact that I'm willing to call this player out of the small blind because I know the odds are with me. Hilaire. Good shot, backdoor flush draw. Problem is, it really hits his range. Meaning he has more queens than anybody else. Okay, if you're going to make it free, shit. Just call. Don't do it. You didn't raise when you were supposed to. Only problem is he can have ace-king a lot here. So if I hit my hand, I might get busted. That turn bet is the dumbest fucking shit. These turn leads are so fucking dumb. Like, there's a time for every move almost, but these fucking players just do not get it. Unless you just spiked 4-5 exactly, which you didn't because you didn't bet the fucking river. You're just giving money. He wasn't going to bet. He was not going to bet. He would have checked through the turn. You didn't have to control the size of the pot by giving him a half pot bet. You didn't have to do that. Fucking loser. Shocker, you don't call. It's just the dumbest shit. Open ender. Okay. Okay. Ace ball. Red ace. That'll do. How about it? If he's got anything, he's calling. Ha ha, you fucking moron. Nice play. Way to control the size of the pot till you hit your 2 pair. Fucking retard. Hilaire. The overbet jam. Jam. Everything's a takedown. It's so hard to keep making the same move, and like, because you just keep thinking, this can't work again, this can't work again. But it does. You gotta remember, you're doing the move, but the people you're playing against are not always the same person. It's not like a heads-up match, you know, where they're seeing, hey, what's up, Gray Fox? Where they're seeing pattern in your play. You're doing this against 8 other players, so... And it's amazing to me how much people are checked out. Like, especially, I remember live play, and maybe it's because I learned to play live poker playing 7-card stud, you know, where you have to look at all the other, if you want to win, watch your JMT video, it was cool. Which one? There's currently 11 Jedi Mind Tricks and 4 minis. I imagine you're talking about the Watchman one. The Blue Deuce. I'm listening to a little bit of a streamer on the side here. They have some music on their stream. I'm trying to figure out the soundboard so I can play music through my stream and not have it show up on the VOD. There's a way to do it, but I have to learn the soundboards that I'm downloading, so it's going to take me a minute. Plus, in all honesty, I kind of like having streams on the side. Oh, the straight flush one. Dude. Yeah, if you like those are little like minute 90-second content that I edit through, just like hand highlights of the day and shit. There's I currently have the first 4 of them up on my TikTok, and I could definitely use some more TikTok heat. So please follow the TikTok and check it out there. I posted a bunch of places, but it's on my TikTok, my Instagram. And it's nice because it gets good crossover views. Like, ones that have Chuchi in them got a lot of hits from the dog community of TikTok because his face kept popping up. But yeah, that straight flush one was pretty awesome. Wow. I don't know about this. I mean, it's not unheard of, but it is kind of... When you get 4-bet, think you need to get back on tournaments, bro, and win some real money. Yeah, I kind of have been down on tournaments for the past about 3 weeks or so. You know, just generally not interested, and in all honesty, with getting back to the gym, and wow, what a great, awful fucking play. What an awful fucking play. Like... Bet the flop with the flush draw, check the turn, bet the minimum on the river. Like, and it's funny because I wonder if he's folding if I raise because I have the full house. Like, I wonder how much I can raise. Get in the zone. Yeah, I know, man. I just, in all honesty, like, I want to be playing tournaments on weekends at the minimum, but with getting back to the gym and, you know, a couple other things I've been doing, I found it, I haven't been wanting to commit to consecutive 5-6 hour streams. Like I've been streaming, 4 to 8 hours a day, but off and on, throughout the day, playing cash games and taking a break and then coming back and then doing some more and then, so that kind of thing. Okay. So that's kind of where I've been at. You min raise me. I mean, this can always be like the wheel, the ace three of spades, but I don't think I want to fold for a min raise. I'm going to check. If that king doesn't deter him, then I'm just going to give up because he's going to have a set too often. Yeah, okay. You got it, bro. I don't know if I don't think it was just the jack. I think there was something more to that. Ace on the turn's not bad. I'm going to check. 6 in the river kind of sucks. Aces. How do you not make more money? Like there's only one hand that beats you, and that's a 7. Like, ugh. It's so bad. Like, when that ace hits the turn, I continue betting. Because what are you getting called by? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting called by hands that had you beat or don't believe it. Saw someone Reddit talk about how global poker being much softer than ACR, so I gave it a try. They aren't lying. Plus, they give you a free $20 when you sign up. Yeah, I've been hearing that. And it's on my radar. I just honestly, I haven't been that focused to try another poker room. So I'll get into it. I actually have a list of to dos, and global poker is number 3. Well, 2, I guess, because I did one of them. Yeah, I'll get on there. I'm just gonna check this down. Yeah, once it's called, I can't call. I mean, I guess if you're gonna play, I guess I should have just. Well, no, because the guy. Well, no. It's not that these games are hard. They're just a very frustrating kind of soft. So, I definitely think they're beatable. I definitely should get onto global poker just to be able to have more 10 and L's at a time. Let me check this one. Jack 10 can be an issue here. It's a poker site, global poker. I think we just check down and win this one. Yeah, ace 5. No real reason to bet. He could have bet the turn, honestly. Make a 6. Although, I will say I'm not 100% sure I can play on global being in Nevada. Like, you can't play on Bodog here. You can't play on a lot of fucking sites here. Well, I'm going to bet now. Okay. Just going to check. See if somebody wants to bluff the river. You don't bet? Oh my god. Does that really mean I could have won this pot on the river if I had bet? Holy shit. Like, I'm expecting the ace high to bet. Like, I wasn't checking because I was afraid of losing, but I honestly didn't think the ace high would call 2 bets. Even though that's stupid, because if they call the flop, or if they call the turn thinking that they're good, then they should call the river. If they're calling for a chop like a fucking moron. But he doesn't bet the underfull there. I mean, like, if I had a 7, wouldn't I have bet it? Right. They do the thing like the online gambling sites, the slot machine sites, where you buy like 1,000 coins, and then for $100, and then for that you get 100 gold coins, which you can then redeem for cash as a gift. It's just another way to get around get around certain restrictions and shit like that. Funny part is too is that by that logic and that all being cool, I love when this happens. Granted, nobody's got much, but when I've raised it and hit trips on one of my Raggedy Ace cards, this is kind of like the best case scenario. Because you'd be surprised how much action you get here when somebody's just got a 5. And plus, it keeps your image up as a maniac if you... Well, now I'm called, so I'm just going to check back with the full house. Hopefully this guy's got spades. He could have a 3 and like 5-3. Just going to bet again. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he called me with a 5. I don't think he calls the turn if I bet. That ace kind of killed my action. I kind of needed, I guess the best card's like a... I mean, I guess it's a 4, right? Oh, now the table might come up. Get to PokerStars and play real tournaments? Dude, we're in the U.S. Can't play on PokerStars in the U.S., if you didn't know. And in all honesty, unless you're playing the bigger buy-in tournaments on PokerStars, there's a lot softer rooms, man. Isn't there PokerStars New York, though? I thought that was a thing. Maybe I'm wrong. This is a small open. I'm just going to call it. Sweet. I thought about 3-betting, but it's kind of meh. Like in a 4-way pot, I kind of just want to hit the flop. Which I have done, obviously. We're just going to go ahead and call here. Player snap calls. I don't expect him to have an 8 very much. That heart on the river is really shit. Watch when he bets. Yeah, way to play, bro. You killed all your fucking action. You don't play good. It's so hilarious. I'm just going to keep checking this one. It's a 3-way pot. And then the king on the river, just for good measure. I'm just going to check. Yeah. Way to play, bro. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see you do this exact same thing 3 times yesterday. Yeah, it's real money, man. They just have a different way of getting the money on. Yeah, I will. You can't play in a lot of... What I meant to say was you can't play in a lot of sites here that you can play at other places in the U.S. But I know. And yeah, what I would do is I would sign up, verify the bank ID and everything like that, and then make my deposit after it's all through. So it's going to take 3 or 4 days anyway. But I'm just being very lazy these days. I'm studying a ton, but I'm mostly studying tournament poker, so it's kind of rough. Global's a sweepstakes where everywhere in the USA. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Bodog is legal in the U.S. too, but it's been banned in Nevada. So I have to... It's not just that it has to be legal. It has to be endorsed by the state. So, like Bodog, you can play anywhere in the U.S. It's completely legal, except Nevada, New Jersey, and somewhere else. Or it might be, it's Nevada and Delaware. I'm not sure if it's New Jersey. But yeah, and it's fucked up because I got on Bodog. This is a while ago, a couple years back, and I ended up I put on like fucking $100 or something, and went really well. I mean, it's just anonymous tournaments. This is back when I was working at Hooters as a poker dealer. I would play like when the room was dead, and it was dead a lot. I would play my phone, and I sat there on my phone for like 3 or 4 hours a night when there was no game, and I would be grinding one table playing on Bodog, and in like 3 weeks I got up to like $400 or $500. I forget what it was, but then I went and made a cash out request just for like 300, right? Just because I didn't really trust the site, and I wanted to see how long their cash outs processed, and they said it was approved. And then when they tried to send it to my bank, it got binged back, and they were like, "Oh, you're in the U.S. We're confiscating your account." I'm like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, we absolutely. You're not allowed to play. We're confiscating your fucking account." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Can I at least get the money I deposited back?" And they were like, "You'll have to send an email." And I sent fucking email, and no go. They just took my shit. Don't know how legal it is, to be honest, even as a sweepstakes. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you raising? Like, that's hilarious. Did he, like, misclick that? Like, he raised me with... Like, and this is the shit that gets in your head, like... Yeah, the sweepstakes thing can be very frustrating. I'm gonna check that one. Huh. The fuck is it? Oh my god. Poker Stars in New Jersey, not New York. I thought it was in New York. Well, it's Pennsylvania, right? Okay. Wow, you play awful. 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 There is Poker Stars in New Jersey. I know there's like Pennsylvania, right? It was supposed to be Pennsylvania and New York and then something else. So I get 3-bet by Spectrofax. Go ahead. I'm going to check that one. There's a lot of 2-pair combos. Queen's kind of not great because it's a club. I mean, what am I really doing here? I'm kind of looking to chop. Yeah, no 3-bet, no turn bet. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting flirty messages. Ooh. Oh, and another table. Nope, nothing funny there. Ba, 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 ba. Appreciate you guys coming out, checking out all the social links and such. That's a nice turn card. This is kind of interesting. I'm not 100% sure if I want the flush or not. I'm going to check. I don't think I wanted the flush. If I win the hand, I was probably... Yeah. Oh, I did. Look at that. Oh, my God. Oh, he had the worst flush. Well, there's more worse flushes than better flushes, technically, in the deck, but shouldn't see too many worse ones than that. Do I want to gut shot this? I think I do. Open ender. Or a double gutter, I guess, right? No point in betting. Never going to fold. Got to remember, if somebody's going to play King 8 offsuit, they're not going to fold to a bluff on that river for one barrel. Might not even do it for two. I had a lot of outs. I had like 12 outs. There's a bill in New York that would make poker online legal. I'll link in chat. Yeah. I don't think you can link it in chat, my man. So I'm going to check this one back. Sometimes I could have bet and won it on the turn. I don't know. If you really want to look up your history, this is interesting. There's a lot of two-pair combos. I'm going to let it go. If you want to know your history, Puggy Pearson back in the day, in like the 50s, he was at a game that got raided, and all the poker players that were there just paid the fines, you know, to bail out of jail and whatever like that. And famously, as the story goes, Puggy said that it shouldn't be a fine because poker is not gambling. And the judge was like, what are you talking about? You're betting money and winning money and all this kind of shit. And he says, I'll tell you what, Judge, we'll play me and you heads up. And he says, if it's really a game of luck, then it should all even out, right? And famously, he played him and just beat the pants off of him because he was one of the best players in the world. And the judge threw the fine out of court. I think it was something like the judge threw they played for the fine, or they played for some multiple of the fine, and you know it was really an interesting story. I'll have to look it up. And New York is tough, so if other states see New York do it, they might follow suit. Well, yeah, the real thing you need to happen is a gambling mecca like Las Vegas to do it. The problem is Caesars, the biggest poker property in the world because of the World Series. I almost don't want to raise this, but I feel like I should. The biggest poker property in the world, Caesars doesn't want it legal out here. Just because of the simple fact that, I mean, we're just going to bet to get the money in. Just because of the simple fact that, wow, that's hilarious, that they get money because it's illegal. They get to run it state-sanctioned through Caesars Properties International. They have land-based casinos. So they don't want it legalized and taxed like international money. They want it to stay in-house. It's very common. Although now that Sheldon Adelson, the guy who owned the Venetian, now that he died a few years ago, was it a few years ago? It was a couple of years ago, I think. He was like the number one guy, the number one proponent against online poker. So much so to the point that when I found out the extent of his involvement, and this was post Black Friday, like my whole world got wiped out. I said I'll never set foot in the Venetian again until that motherfucker's dead, and I didn't, because he really ruined my life. Can I show individual tables? Yeah. See, here's the thing. To do that, you have to zoom in and zoom out, and you have to have like a board and all like that. I don't do that, man. I'm just playing. So I zoom in on the tables in highlights, but I don't do it while I play. You kind of got to pay attention. The trick that I tell people if you're watching a multi-table streamer is watch the mouse. See the mouse? Wherever the mouse is usually where my attention is. I kind of got into that habit, so even if I'm not betting, I'll move the mouse to wherever my attention is. So like I was over here on the jacks, now I'm up here on the 8-7, folding this one. So yeah, just watch the mouse. It's a lot harder to zoom in on one table than you think it is. You actually have to change. You actually have to make views. Like what you're looking at right here is you're looking at my screen. The only thing that's not on my screen is the camera image of me in this little box down here. But everything else you're looking at is actually the screen in front of me. And what I did was I just highlighted the whole thing and made that the view for you to see, and then added the camera and this little thing right here, the balance thing, that says right there. I guess that I'm not looking at either. But everything else is just my 40-inch monitor. So in order to click around and go table to table to table, you need to set up individual scenes for every table. And then you have to jump between them. And in all honesty, I don't want to do that. So I get where you're coming from, but I don't want to do that. And it looks prettier, I guarantee you. And I came up, in the time of, the early streamers before I quit, where, when we started doing that, it was pretty amazing. I really just don't have the wherewithal or the machinery really to do it, because you kind of need a stream deck. A stream deck is like a bunch of buttons with presets to them, and you just kind of press a button. So I could be pressing a button with my left hand while I'm using the mouse on my right. It takes a whole ton of effort to do it with a keyboard. So I'm just not interested in it. If that does work out, it'll take 5 years to actually be up and running. Realistically, the poker boom's coming in this decade. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think one day the U.S. will re-enter the poker world. But I'll tell you right now, there was supposed to be a bill introduced in. It was supposed to be introduced in mid-March 2020. That would have allowed certain states. I think there was like 8 states to regulate and tax poker winnings and separate it from sports betting. And it was supposed to be voted on in March of 2020. Can you guess why it didn't happen? Like, Corona's changed the whole world, man. So, it's just not a priority for these people. Like, at all. So, it's not really going to change until... It's like marijuana. I mean, until somebody... like, showed the government how much money you can actually make... And one state was like, no, fuck you. We need the tax revenue, which was what? What was the first one? Colorado or something like that? And then the other states saw how much money it made. Yeah. But the thing of it is, they have had legal U.S. poker sites here, but they have to be based out of land-based casinos. Great story if it's true. Good way to prove new guys that it's a skill game. It's absolutely a true story. I don't remember all the details of it, but I remember reading about it in Doyle Brunson's book, where he retold the story. But that story was around in Poker News and Card Player Magazine for... I mean, I first read that story in like before I came to Vegas. So that would have been what, like 2005 at the latest. So it's absolutely a true story. You know what? Next time you guys see Eric from Vegas in the chat, ask him about it. He knows a lot of the poker history and stuff. He's the kind of guy who would know it. I don't think I want to fold for one bet here just because this is so likely to be overcards. This is fucking annoying because it's a set. And it should not be raising. Now the ace comes off and he's just going to get all the way paid. So he's just going to jam and the ace king's going to call off like a fucking idiot. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, look, a set versus ace king. How fucking shocking. Like, that's the worst fucking raise on the flop. Like, you don't need to do that. You can just call and then let him bet. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, he's never going to jam on you. You gave him every opportunity to get away from it. That's just fucking stupid. What the fuck is this? I mean, is this real? What the fuck is this? Beat me. He actually had a fucking queen 10. Like, what the fuck? That is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. I love how he has to have a 10%er to actually beat me. Like, a flop that should so not be in his range to actually beat me. Ugh. That shit's frustrating because that's one of the things that gets me because the players on here are such shit that they do dumb shit like that and it fucking works for them. Because it looks so fucking retarded. Good part is I look tilted now. That's annoying. Look at this fucking ace on the river. This dumb shit. You're leading into the razor. There's an ace on the board. You should never fold. Why are you leading? You should have something you want to get it in with. Gee, do you think I'm betting the turn? Sevens. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is the stuff. This is why I fuck up those other hands that piss me off, is because you see dumb shit like this. Sometimes I just zoom in on my computer and watch one or two. Yeah, a lot of people do that too. I do that on some streams if there's like one tournament that I specifically want to watch a player play. Do I raise this? He should be betting. He had an overpair. I didn't think he had much. I mean, I guess I was right. It eights. He didn't have much. Then why didn't you bluff? Perfect bluff spot. If you're turning that hand into a bluff. Colorado or Washington, yeah. Corona slowed down a bunch of stuff. Hopefully we get out of this soon. It's not going anywhere, man. I mean, I'm not a pessimist. I'm a true realist, and I've learned way too much about how viruses evolve and spread. got to remember my dad was a pediatrician for like 40 years, and he gave me all of his virology, textbooks, and he taught me about it. And herd immunity for coronavirus, meaning a single strain, meaning it has to happen all on the same strain, which would be almost impossible at this point. Herd immunity for the coronavirus rests at 80%, which is not high. Usually, herd immunity rests at 95%, like polio. But the problem is we have anti vaxxers and we have children who are too young to vaccinate. So, that 80%, one guy who's a social economist I was listening to, he said it was only achievable if every man, woman, and child over the age of 11, I think he said, in the United States got vaccinated and the birth rate slowed down. I'm wondering if this player calls behind, this is a good call. I think because it's nines, I'm going to go ahead and make the call. There has to be a movie about that guy, no? Which guy? You mean Puggy Pearson or Sheldon Adelson? I've never heard of a movie about Puggy Pearson, but have you seen movies about Amarillo Slim or Sailor Roberts or Eskimo Clark or there's a million poker players that are absolute fucking legends that you haven't heard about. Finally, they're doing one about Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson, maybe the most famous poker player of the modern era. Like, maybe the most famous poker player that ever lived. And they're finally making one about him, and it's kind of like the ESPN Last Stand kind of thing. It's the same company that's doing that. Like, people don't give a fuck. Like, this is the thing you got to realize, man. You guys are unique. Wanting to watch poker and being interested in poker and all like that. It's kind of like being interested in, I mean, I don't know what you compare. I don't know if you compare it to chess or whatever, but chess is nowhere near as popular as poker because it's just not as accessible for the everyday person. So raise, re-raise, I flatted. This guy 4-bet. I really don't like this situation, even with the ace-queen. I don't know what the fuck this is. This got bet and raised, and I re-raised, and they folded. Yeah, we're just going to get out of the way now. Kings and queens? Wow. Why would you 4-bet? Why would you 4-bet? Like, do you have pocket tens and you're 4-betting like a fucking idiot? Like, that's hilarious. Probably had ace-queen. Skill game right there, yeah, right? Well, it's just a matter of how much it's always a skill game, but not everybody's as skilled, I'm just gonna check this. Check that. Queen's bad. Deuces. Never loses. Let me fold this one. I like my seat here, but yeah, this table's dead. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You got it. Realistic is pessimistic, optimistic is delusional. All right. Yeah, there's only a couple of really there's only a couple of good poker movies. I mean, obviously Rounders, the Stu Unger story with what was his name, Michael Imperioli playing Stu Unger. That was really good, and from what I know of his history, having read about Stu Unger and talking to people and shit, it was pretty accurate. Like they didn't sugarcoat it. The only things they left out was like his son's suicide and things that weren't necessary but all contributed to Unger's demons. I've noticed poker is a game full of nerds. Well, now it is. Didn't used to be. It used to be cowboys and Jews, man. Like, as a Jewish guy growing up, you kind of look at this. This is the worst fucking shit ever. The old joke. Gabe Kaplan tells a story about how him and Doyle Brunson. All right, I've had enough of this guy. If you got me beat, go ahead. I mean, does this guy have two pair ever, or he just have like a pair and a flush draw, or like 8-7? I can't guess against this guy, so I'm playing the deck strength. No, thank you. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, it used to be. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The anecdote that Gabe Kaplan, who was very big in poker, welcome back Carter or Cotter, that motherfucker. He told the anecdote about hanging out with Doyle Brunson in the '80s, and they used to have a prop bet called cowboy hat or yarmulke, and they would basically they would pick a table number at the World Series of Poker without looking at it, and they would either bet yarmulke or cowboy hat, meaning there were either more Jews or more cowboy hats at that table than anything, more Jews or Texans at that table than anything else. And it was about 50-50. It was just an old prop bet. Your rant reminds me of today. I got myself in a perfect zone to play poker, relaxed, ate good, had a drink, took an hour on my own. Yeah, I don't prep much before I play other than getting my head right because you're setting yourself up for letdowns usually. Okay. Well, good for you. King, please, or Jack. Well, horrible play, but congratulations. Limp calls, jams the ace. I have to have an ace to call. And that's one of the two aces I'm going to have. And that's the one that loses to him, so too bad. Got into a few hands that didn't make sense, put me out of the mood. I realized that, and I started laughing. Yeah, it's funny. I remember I played a live tournament that I qualified for playing on, I forget the website, but basically if you won a leaderboard or you won this tournament online, you got entered into this free roll. And it was for every week of this 1 month. And I qualified 3 times, twice by winning the tournament. And it was a big tournament. It was like the 10K guaranteed. So I already won like $2,500. And then went out and it was a $2,500 free roll. And I ended up winning that too. But we were on our way there. And it was a big deal. Like it was at Green Valley Ranch. And Jason Somerville was there. Antonio Esfandiari was there. Sam Grisel was there. And they were all, entered into this thing and playing like for blood. I actually knocked Jason Somerville out, won myself tickets to a UFC match where we saw a very new to the UFC Conor McGregor get his first, get the match that he won to get his first title. So he had to beat this guy to get his first title shot. But anyway, we're on our way there, and Courtney looks at me and she says, while we're walking in and all like that, she goes, "Do you need to do anything? Do you want to like put on your headphones or like walk around or like, do you need to do anything to get in the right mindset?" And I'm like, "No, it's poker. I don't need to stretch for it." And like to her that was kind of whatever, but I just never. uh, never really over analyzed my preparation, and I prepare by like the wake up with me thing, right? Like studying on the daily and reviewing hands and shit like that. Like, but as far as like I make sure I feel good. Like I go to the gym or take a shower if I need it. I always make sure the dogs are taken care of. I don't want to be hungry, but like some of these guys, man, who like I know lifelong losers that sit there and they're like, okay, I get up at 6 a.m. and I go for a 40-minute run. And then I come back and I meditate for 15 minutes. And then I get in a shower. And then I thank the heavens and I light incense and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And when all this is done, I can play poker. And I'm like, you've been a loser for 15 years. I'm like, you're literally borrowing money. What the fuck are you doing? Why don't you put down the acai bowl and study your fucking ranges? I know it could be some people are just playing for fun, or maybe it's their first section. That's great, and they should have fun at the tables. No, I agree. You can't judge people, but I only judge people because I see them all the fucking time. Like on this site, it's very easy to see the same people over and over and over again, and you're just like, it's a judgment you make on people. It's just like, oh, you're crap. Some people had a drink and play poker. Others do cocaine and Xanax and then play poker. Yeah, pot's a big one. One of the best poker players of our day. Uh, what's his name? Huckseed. Biggest fucking pothead in the world. Well, I got that link, Blades. I'll read the thing later. Really? I mean, there's not much there. Well, I gotta go for it. Woo! Triple barrel. Bet, bet, bet. I watched a poker stream earlier today. Had bitterly every type of person at the table. I assume that means it's getting more mainstream. Poker is super mainstream. Like after the it's just that you got to remember they've also after Black Friday. It's not like poker slowed down. It's just that it left the U.S. So like you don't see advertisements for poker anymore. It used to be everywhere. The World Series of Poker was such a moneymaker, man. It was on beer cans. Like it was on, Jack Link's Beef Jerky was a sponsor of the World Series. Like it was insane, bro. But after Black Friday, when the regulations came down, you couldn't get American players to play on your site. So where the fuck was the money going to come from? So everybody just pulled out, because it was no point in advertising. So you don't see it much, but trust me, man, in the rest of the world, it's still very big. So is anybody leading a 4 here? I kind of doubt it, so I think I want to raise. Like, I don't know this. I mean, this player is more sticky. I don't really know him to be a trapper by bet. This is the problem. So now I don't know if I'm up against a 4 on the button or a flush draw. But it's $3 to win 13, so I can't fold. Nice. That's pretty sweet. Put the that's a pretty good line, huh? Put down the acai bowl and study ranges. It's true, man. You know, it's like you'd be amazed. Like, you know what that is? That's like luck. That's like these idiots who, like, I know people that have gone to tournaments and like showed up and entered and realized they didn't have their lucky fucking whatever with them, their lucky card marker or their lucky penny or whatever it was, and I watched them unregister the tournament and leave and come back later with the fucking thing 3 hours later because they had to get through registration and all this kind of bullshit and everything like that, and throw away like half their blinds because they needed to have their fucking rabbit's foot or whatever it was. Like, and I remember this very specifically. I'm thinking about one person, and I remember him doing it and unregistering and saying, "I just can't do it without it." I'm like, why? He's like, "I'll be unlucky." I'm like, you realize how ridiculous that is, right? I'm like, you're an intelligent person, and I'm like, and he wasn't much of a study guy, but he knew poker. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so you actually think luck like influences like that? What you're really telling me, or are you just like, you just need this thing for a security blanket? Like, and this is all before the tournament. Maybe I pissed him off to the point where I couldn't have convinced him to stay, but I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it just didn't make sense. This is a good, that's a semi-good, that's a full pot bet? No, thank you. Yeah, full pot bet, no good, sir. Yeah, yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry. Do you have anything or just, yeah, overcards, right? Yeah. I used to love smoking when I was younger, but I can't be a functional human and smoke anymore. I was a full-on pothead in high school. I was just way too angry of a guy, and I had, I guess you could call it ADD, but it was more so that I was dyslexic, undiagnosed. But it helped me stay out of trouble. I used to fight a lot in school. It helped me stay out of trouble, and it made school interesting. Now, I still wasn't doing well without cheating, but it kind of helped me a lot. I cannot fuck with weed anymore. Like, I've had some mental and emotional issues, and I can't, I don't like my reality to get fucked with, like, at all. I use Delta 8 and it's nice. Yeah, I like Delta 8 too. I have, whatchamacallit. Like, what the fuck is this? I have CBD syrups and stuff, and I do keep some Delta 8, and I do like the Delta 9 shit too, just for a little buzz. But weed was different when I was in high school. Like, I would go down to Little Miami, or sorry, Little Havana, and buy an ounce for like $90. And then I'd sell half of it and smoke half of it for $90. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would buy it and then sell it literally just to make up the money to smoke. And I was always that kid that always had weed on him. And but now it's like the shit's so fuck. Like, I really wonder like what the content was, because like even some of the lower THC strains, they just hit differently. Like, I've found 8% THC strains, and they're just jacked up on the CBD. I still can't do it. Like, it fucks with my head too much. Maybe it's because of me. Cost you $2 instead of 35 at the store. Nice. Yeah, Global Poker has a Twitch channel. Every one of them does. ACR does. PokerStars does. All of them. Well, it's illegal because there's no cannabidiol there's no psilocybin in their cannabidiol compound. So you may end up with ancillary psilocybins that make you kind of feel high, but they're not connected to the cannabinoid molecules in Delta 8 THC. Delta 9, however, that'll fuck you up a bit. And I had a lot of issues with, joint problems and inflammation and things like that. So I'm a huge CBD fan. I got a fucking eighth of fucking CBD weed on top of my fucking fridge all the time. Been playing on Global the last 2 weeks, so maybe, what do you play? Hey, what's up, Johnny? Haven't seen you in a minute. Everybody flop, everybody flop. Everybody flop, everybody flop, everybody flop. Flop a deuce. Flop a deuce. Kick off your Sunday shoes. I should make that song. All right, everybody needs to have 10-9. There's one guy with it. Oh, King 9, 6-6, Queen 8. Queen 8 got it. Ten nine, 5-9, King 9. Look at all these used up. 10-7. Like, that's where you can tell how the ranges are and that you're dialed in. Because, like, the most common card, 10s and 9s, gets used in everybody's hand and they lose. What the fuck is this? Okay. Ah, you have Poker Go in your TV package. That's actually pretty good, man. There's a lot of entertaining stuff on there. I think they also keep the catalog up, right? So you can go back and watch, like, whatever. The heads-up matches were fun to watch. I'm just going to check this. I'm not even going to bother. Full pot bet. Be a great way to trap this guy. Setting him up. Setting him up. Great card. Really? thought maybe he might roll over like ace 7 or something, but hitting just the straight 2 outer. It's like the worst bet in the world too on that flop in a 4-way pot. I'm gonna check this. Yeah, he's just got ace king. That's fine. There's no bluffs. You didn't bet enough, bro. Cannabis oil gets you high. I'm not talking about cannabis oil. I'm talking about CBD syrups. So it's the non-psychoactive portion of marijuana, basically. And they remove the THC and then they add a bunch of other stuff to it, like just a whole like shitload of herbs and like a bunch of weird stuff that just really makes your body kind of relax. Like if you can't sleep and your mind's ever racing, you just literally take a spoonful of this shit, and it's meant to be used like lean. So like you take a cup and you put some, 7-Up or Sprite in it, and then just over ice you drip in this syrup, and it makes this nice sipping drink that you can make. It's a lot of sugar in it, which I don't like, but and it just becomes a thing that you can kind of wind down with. Cannabis oil, but yeah, I mean the CBD helps me intensely. Like I don't have too many of those problems anymore, but I will tell you, man, my back still has chronic issues. I have a ruptured disc, so it's kind of weird too. It's like it really acts up when I don't make it to the gym often enough, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but it's really not. We're just gonna get our value now. Ace on the river fucking sucks donkey ass. Look at this fucking moron. You're just the most obvious fucking thing. That's the other thing too. I might play that the exact same way and have a king or have ace king. Like that's just fucking ridiculous. Got 24% and then 12% and then 100%. Nice odds. The fuck is that? Like, why bother? Checky. Good to see all you guys here. Appreciate you coming out. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube if you're not already. Also, you can check out that link tree, !links. It also comes up every now and then. Where is it? That link tree has connections to all my media and social media and all my YouTube and Twitch and everything else like that. Instagram, Twitter. So, just another spot to find more of me. And I find it to be very helpful. Since I put up the link tree like 4 days ago, I've had so many people tell me like, oh, dude, I didn't even know this was you. Like, people who knew me on Instagram. But, and I hadn't been posting poker stuff, you know, because I just didn't use Instagram is what it was. But they were like, oh, shit. Like, they just clicked on the link the next time they saw it and ended up following me on everything. So it's really useful. Folding. After I started smoking, my anxiety got really bad and never went away. Yeah, I read that somewhere that we can bring pre-existing mental issues forward, like schizophrenia. Very true, usually for younger people. OCD, etc. I never believed it. Always thought weed was completely harmless. Now that I grow up and see that as days will still drugs, definitely useful for some people though. Yeah, I mean, and like anything else, it affects people in different ways. Like my wife has anxiety disorders. She has to stay away from certain kind of weeds with certain terpenes in them, but other ones are absolute lifesavers. So, and it's one of those things. Like it's not just that's the problem with weed is that it's so hard to study because it's not like saying cocaine. Like cocaine has similar effects across every, no matter who makes it or whatever, because it's basically just the same product anywhere you go. Weed, there's like 1,000 different strains all the time that actually contain, whatchamacallit, that actually contain different elements. The terpenes that make up a different profile that affect the way it affects your body and it affects your high. Get tinctures and put it under your tongue. Yeah, I used to do that too. I like the syrups just because the tinctures are usually very, they're hard to fucking use because they taste like shit. But yeah, I used to get the tinctures that were super concentrated. But once my body started getting back in line after like a couple of years of working out and stuff like that, like now I just do it every, once in a while just to kind of relax. But yeah, I kind of wish I could smoke weed again. You know what it is? I wish I could have weed affect me the way that it did when I was a kid. Because that was, it helped. It helped with everything. I definitely think I want to raise. This player hasn't been sitting for very long, so if they go ape shit, I kind of give them credit for a hand. Well, there's no ace there. That was easy. I don't think I want to fold for a half pot bet. Not super likely the other player has two pair that I beat. Not super likely that they just have an ace, but they could have, 10 jack, king 10. There's a couple of those, so I think we just check call the river. Yeah, that's fine. Check that one. Yeah, usually it's not very cheap. I just would hate to lose to like a 4 or a 3 here, but yeah, pocket eights is fine. Yeah, CBD from the corner store. No, it never works, man, because that's shit. You have to get it from. I forget the company, the name of the one I get it from. Yeah, but the stuff that I use is called Cloud9. So when I reorder it, I just Google Cloud9 CBD syrup, and it just comes up. You can just Google that. I can't remember the name of the fucking site. Convinced that it's not even CBD for most of the companies. Yeah, well, what it is it's like getting supplements. Like you can get supplements from places that are actually like reputable and all like that, but they're not regulated, so they can have a very small amount of it in it. So for the amount of or for the amount of hemp or the amount of CBD that you would get from hemp, some of these companies are just like they call it pixie dusting. You heard of them? Yeah, they're pretty good. I never know how to spell herd. I always end up spelling it Herd. Well, we are definitely going to check raise. It's a situation where it can absolutely be beat right here. 100%. But I think I get 4-bet if I am beat. So this guy leads up. I mean, I can definitely be up against King Jack, but I think that's all I'm worried about. I think we just kind of commit. I'm gonna let this go. I mean, if I get jammed on, it's whatever because King Queen, Queen 10, even some other weaker hands will jam here. I mean, you kind of have to know who you're up against, but I don't think we can let another card come off. I think we want to get all the money in right there, which it's usually a fine idea when you have 2 pair. Gut shot, flush draw. No. Okay. Few strains that actually don't affect me negatively. Yeah. Okay, this dude raised, but he raised small on the turn. I'm just going to call. I'm going to check it and let him bet. I don't think he's ever going to get all the money in without the ace, so let's just see how much he'll bet with whatever he's got. That's funny. See, he raised me on the turn to determine whether or not I had a flush. So if I had jam there, that's whatever. So that's one where I could have check jammed the river. Yeah, but it's not. He's got too much behind. I think if he had less than a bet behind, I would have done it. And he bet enough. He bet a value hand. It's fine. Like it's just a hard spot to raise, especially when I check raise the flop or when he bets and I raise the flop. Keep checking. Well, I'm not really interested in this pot. Like ace highs are good usually. Oh, I got the better one. Checky, fold. Nope. So we're up a couple buy-ins. Nothing excessive. Just wish we had more tables going. It's kind of hard to stay focused when you have less. than what you can optimally play. I think 8 is right around where I'm comfortable. I'm going to Razaroo you. So this player calls, reads, raises. What are you calling for? No, we're raising. Yeah, you fold, that's fine. If this guy wants to get in, that's fine. He's an idiot. Got shot. Oh, really? Do you not want to get it in? It's a nice bet. I've always noticed that Granddaddy Perp is a strain that's one of the good ones for me. Really? I have a ton of outs. But he doesn't have enough money behind. If he had a full stack, he could get played with there. Good ones for me. Being out in New York, people smoke is fucking sours. Yeah. Literally sick of that shit. I've smoked so much of it. Yeah. That's like being in South Florida, man. It was basically all that same shit when I was a kid growing up. That and hydroponic skunks was kind of crap. But I always liked fucking sativas for the focus and shit. Indicas, you know, somebody who's prone to depression, indicas are not good for you. But I really can't fuck with it anymore, and I really can't drink either. Like, I can have a beer, like, just if I'm enjoying the beer, but getting drunk, like, I really don't like my reality fucked with. So, you know, I can have a drink. Like, me and Courtney went to dinner last week. We went out for sushi, and they actually were still selling their plum champagne, they called it, but it was sake. It was sparkling sake, and it was really good. And I got through half the glass, and I call the waiter over. I'm like, "How much booze is in this?" And he goes and gets the bottle. It was like 19% alcohol, and I was like, "Jesus Christ, man!" I'm like, and he's like, "Yeah," and they were full champagne flutes, and I'm like, "God damn!" So basically, it was like 2 shots of. Essentially, I think it was the same as like 2 shots of Jack Daniels or something. Like, it was a lot that was in there. And after I got through like half the glass, I couldn't drink any more of it. Not because I was too drunk or whatever, but my brain just did not want any more of it. So that's when I asked the waiter, and it made sense because it was so high alcohol content, you know. So see a raise out of first. See a small re-raise from kind of a weak player on the button, so I think this is a very good spot to underplay the ace-queen suited. I think if this guy doesn't 3-bet, then we're in a great position. Go ahead and raise. Yeah, when he leads out, he's just cutting his own throat. Watch this. He's got like pocket 10s or something. Watch him get his throat cut right here. Yeah, this guy should have the set, by the way. That's a pretty good flop for queens. Half pot. Queens, set of 5s, 6, 7, 2 pair. Really? Max ball. Nice call. Sick call, bro. Good trap. Good trap. It's a really good trap. I checked the flop and then put you all in a turn. What the fuck do you think I have? What do you think he had? Does he look like a man beaten by jacks? Almost didn't raise this one, but when I say weak player, I mean he's relying on his cards. So it doesn't mean that he's, you know, weak. But when this player leads out, it's just like so retarded. I love how that guy caught the 5 on the turn. Had the fucking open-ender on the flop. Right? He was the open-ender on the flop. No, he had a gut shot on the flop, so he could hit a 5 or a 4. That's it. So my dude calls way too much, so we're gonna keep charging. And there's the fucking heart on the river. I wonder what he's got. It's just so fucking pathetic, bro. Like he drew for two 80% pot bets, which is like not proper. And the fact that I was holding a heart is so fucking ridiculous. Well, I can call that. I can call getting 6-1. Oh, chop it up. I even got the extra penny. What the fuck is that? No, I'm not going to call 17x my bet. It's about 6:30. I'm the same way now. I do not like getting high or drunk, but I much prefer to be sober. I don't have a preference like for it. It's just my body and mind keep rejecting it. Like I kind of get bummed out sometimes that I can't get high. But it's just the worst. I think the only highs that are like ever okay for me are like little sleepy highs. Like I sometimes have to take stuff to fall asleep, and sometimes it'll be like time for me to go to sleep, but like I've been to the gym and it was a long day of editing, and and I haven't eaten much, so I'm very like amped up, I guess you could say. And I'll take it and it won't put me down because I kind of have to like sit up and chill a little bit, and then I get that nice little weird sleepy buzz going. Ugh. All the ugly motherfuckers on Grindr always hit me up. Yeah, that little sleepy buzz is okay for me, but I really can't do much more than that. Like I never like did shrooms or anything like that, but I've described to a friend when I had a psychotic break in my early 30s, and I described it to him, and it was a 3-day long adventure. And here's the thing: when you take mushrooms, like the most common thing you hear, like that I've heard that's like a ridiculous statement is like, "Is this forever?" Like people who are like they think they've damaged themselves and they start freaking out and whatever like that because you're aware that you took these drugs, right? I, on the other hand, just had a stress PTSD induced break from reality for 3 days, and that thought never entered my mind once. Is this forever? I did not realize something was wrong, and meanwhile I was seeing like spiders with the size of golden retrievers with like baby heads on them, and really horrific shit, and then talking to Indians and old like Japanese samurai warriors and like weird shit, and you know, all stuff that psychologists said could be explained away as to the imagery. They called it like a waking dream. So you're kind of working out your, uh, your psychological noise in real time. So instead of dreaming, you're having a much more vivid waking experience. And I'm really surprised that, like, I mean, my roommate was checked out, man, and I just basically left my room for 3 days just to, like, eat. And I went for a walk at one point, and that was fun. I'll never forget it. But I never had that thought because, like, I knew that I hadn't taken anything. So for me, it was just like everything was okay, and then the light switch got thrown, and all of a sudden the world exists differently now. Now there are giant spiders the size of golden retrievers, and there are, 17th century Japanese, Shidoku warriors in my fucking apartment, and it's just like the sky is pink. Like that was a fun moment. The sky is pink, and it just became my reality, and that's just kind of the way it is. And it kind of really changes everything. And psychologist that I saw later, he said that it's what used to be referred to as a nervous breakdown, and when you're basically when you're under so much stress that you can't take it and you snap. And he said the thing of it is that we now know that if you can come through the other side, you'll get a different perspective, and it may work to your advantage. And it did. I was very suicidal and depressed before it happened, and like as he said, your body figured out a way to save your life, and it had to do that by fucking with your reality. And he said that a lot of times people like have like those crazy ayahuasca trips or whatever like that, and they they come back with a new lease on life. He's like, it's kind of the same thing. Been taking kratom daily for the last few years. Works amazing on anxiety, and a lot of others who take it for pain. Yeah, I've heard about that stuff. I don't like recommending it to people. It's probably best to do as a last resort. Yeah, I've seen a lot of fairly negative stuff about kratom or kratom or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. I don't really. For me, something has to have a wide berth of knowledge on it before I'll fuck with it. But once I fuck with it, I learn all as much as I can about it, and then I'm in. Gut shot, spade draw. That's no help. Well, what the fuck is that? The fuck is that? I don't even know what the modality of kratom is. Like, it's one of those ones that, like, it's got multi-purpose. It's like, what's the Viagra, right? Like, Viagra, like, it was a heart medication that they found out gave people boners, and like, crazy shit like that. So it's kind of, but I've heard for anxiety and stress. I've heard a lot of the shell shockers, they call it, post-traumatic stress disorder. They like kratom because it helps them get out of that fight or flight. Get out of that fight or flight mentality, and that's usually what's going on with PTSD. Is they're just in a constant state of fight or flight, and these are soldiers, and they're very well aware that they can't just fight because there's nobody to fight. So it kind of causes this rift in their brain where they don't know what to do, and it causes breaks from reality and crazy shit like that. It's all fascinating. It's interesting too. I remember watching a documentary years ago talking about how disorders of the human mind. What is this? Like, this is just always some pair. I'm gonna get out of the way. If I had Ace Queen, I would continue here. Uh, like, and this guy in this thing talked about multiple personality disorder and blah blah blah, and he says that by learning about the lives, just in general, the lives of the people who had these conditions, they were able to find commonalities and decide, this is a contributing factor, that's a contributing factor. And like one of the ones to, and it's not just like trauma, it's not just like any trauma, like multiple personality disorder is usually based around sexual abuse. And it just fractures the person into multiple people so they can cope with the world, and bring up these extra personalities. So it was really fascinating stuff. But it's all in an effort for the human mind to survive. Which this one psychologist, I remember he summed up the meeting saying, if you look at it in that manner, then these aren't mental disorders, they're self-defense mechanisms. I think we bet. I don't know if we get called here much. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, but that was definitely a sight to see. Yeah, it really was. I've been asked quite a few times if I could go back and not have it happen, would I? And the answer is no, because it did solve the problem. I was, one of the lucky few who came out the other side, very much improved by the experience. But then again, I come from a background of medical professionals who, they've, once I came out of it, I knew I needed help, and I knew like something had just happened. And but other people, when that happens to them, they just kind of shrug it off. And if you don't deal with the issues, then the shit can happen again. And there are times when I'm like super stressed. There have been moments where I've seen things out of the corner of my eye, shit like that, where it just snaps my head. But in the time that it takes my head to turn like that, I've already realized that there's nothing there. Okay. No. Set. 4 ace. God damn it. Like, it's so frustrating because it's 50% the ace of spades, not a flush, and 50% a set. It's so fucking frustrating when that happens. Like, this is so fucking ridiculous. And if it's just the ace of spades, then I want that money in there because he doesn't even have overs against me. He's got 9 outs. But, like, it's just... And I didn't have to play for it all, but I really didn't want the... Okay. Hold it. Oh, come on. Well, I got most of it back. I really just didn't want a spade to come off. I mean, I guess I should have played it that way. I mean, he led into me. I mean, maybe that was just frustration and not really... It's just so annoying. Like, if I call there... I should have just... Well, once he jams, I have to call, but I didn't have to raise the flop. That's the mistake. I could have just called it and seen what he does. And that's one where if a spade does come off, like, I'm still behind the set, but no more money goes into the pot. And when the board pairs in the turn, when he pairs fours, he's going to bet, but he's not going to bet insane because he's going to feel very safe with his full house. So I can probably get a showdown for half as much. That's a great turn card. Like, why are you c-betting? Yeah, that was dumb. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not good. You know what I'm saying? Because when he leads out, like, that's the thing. You'll never see anybody leading with a monster there into the razor. Like, they're going to go for the check raise. The lead out is just so... Yeah, that's where I made the mistake. That's a compensation I didn't... Or that's an adjustment I didn't make for playing on this site. Which I should have, because... You don't see that on other sites. It's just not a thing. uh, it's a mistake, but it's like I don't want to beat myself up about it, because if I saw that in any other situation other than specifically these cash games, I would be correct that he would have the ace of spades when the money goes in. Oh, king high, good. What'd you have? King high as well. It's definitely annoying though. Can't find any good research. One time I like to learn things about that I like. Yeah, that's the thing. There isn't any research on it because it's so new. Um, it's just not, there's just no data, and it's like weed. Like they're just now studying weed. You know what I'm saying? Like steroids haven't been thoroughly studied. That's the one that amazes me because what is this? All right, go ahead. That's the one that amazes me because steroids are so widely used and they're so vilified, and it's ridiculous. It's like you can talk about athletes and say, okay, it's cheating, but 90%, and this is not a guess, this is actually something that I, looked into. 90% of the people using steroids are gym rats. They're just people trying to look bigger and stronger. And you can say, well, bodybuilding's a sport. Yeah, fine, but they have natural bodybuilding, right? And here's the thing: all natural bodybuilding has a certain amount of testing that is very hard to get past. I knew an all natural bodybuilder who was actually a Mr. Southern Florida or something like that. And he told me, and he retired from it. He became a firefighter, actually. He's a huge guy. He's got like softballs on his arms. He retired from it because he was always um, very against taking steroids, as he says, beyond a certain point. And he never, I was very young when I knew him. I was under 18. And I said, does that mean that you've taken steroids? And he was like, I think that they're very useful up to a certain point. He says, but beyond that, you're just kind of, gilding the lily, and it stops becoming a sport. It starts becoming about who can spend $1,000 a week on steroids. And, everybody works out the same amount, and the guy who takes the most drugs wins. And that was basically his attitude. So he quit. Like, he quit after he got his pro card because he was in these Mr. Natural competitions. But even in those, they were still using steroids. And but the point that I was making was that those are natural division. That means that the other divisions that aren't qualified as natural are unnatural. That means they know you're doing steroids and they're doing the bare minimum of testing just to keep things legal, because you can't encourage somebody to take steroids, a performance enhancing drug, to compete in a sport. So you have to have a certain amount of controls. But the IFBB doesn't give a fuck if you zoot yourself to the eyeballs as long as you pass the tests. So, and it's because they haven't studied it. This bet is annoying. It's the call that really pisses me off because I should be calling there, but I can't. It's a bad card. Ugh. There's no bluffs here. This is going to piss me off when this guy wins with pocket fives. Are you really going to jam? You better have an overpair. Oh, I would have snapped him with sixes. I don't think he had it. I really don't. Related to the coffee plant is essentially the opposite of coffee. Also, alkaloids work in one of your opiate receptors. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Natural opioid analgesic, which makes it turns into not being a drug you can take and feel more effective. Okay. Seven? Yeah, 6, 7. People in Indonesia have been taking kratom forever, but by farm workers who work long hours is used for energy as well as pain relief. Yeah. What is this minimum bet shit? Oh, I love the ace on the river. Probably just lost. Can't not bet though. Sometimes he's got a king with me, king jack, king 10. But I don't think he ever folds an ace. Fucking retard. It's just an ace all day long. You get 3 outed like more? What the fuck? Withdrawals are terrible compared to opiates, which I was addicted to oxy for most of my teenage years. Yeah. You want to talk about withdrawal, man? I was on head meds for a long time. Antidepressants and SSRIs and all that kind of stuff. And my problem was that they wouldn't work. Like they would work well for like a week, like no joke, like a week, and then I would start to see the decline in the efficacy and go back to the doctor, and they would change something or do something. And I think the longest stretch I got where I was okay was like 3 months, and at that point you enter this like kind of numb feeling, and it really feels terrible. So I talked to the doctor and I said, look, I got to get off this shit. I think I'm better off without it. And she gave me different uh, milligrams of the pills and was like, okay, well, you can start taking less and less and less, you know. And she gave me a long thing. It took me like 8 months to get completely off of everything. And about every 2 or 3 weeks, when I lowered the dosage, I went through really bad side effects like pulling over on the side of the road, throwing up, and brain zaps. That's a fun one. Look that up sometime. Literally, it's electric pulses firing in your brain, and you can feel it inside your head. And it's like getting static electricity shocks on the inside of your skull. It's really awful. And love talking to the doctor about it. I'm having this and I'm having that, and it feels like my skull's on fire. And she goes, "Oh yeah, brain zaps." And I was like, "What?" She like, "You knew this?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "But there's just no way to get around it." She's like, "You just have to go through it." And this meant like decreasing my dosage by like a milligram. You know, going down from like 60 milligrams of total medications down to zero. And I would decrease it by like 5 milligrams every like 2 weeks. But towards the end, getting off the last 10 milligrams, holy shit, that took like 2 months. Like, because I had to go down like 1 milligram a week, and I just have these violent fucking. Ugh. So, Nightbot been spamming in the chat. Yeah, I need him to. I definitely need him to. Yeah, I'll fold that. Ugh, I hate days like this. I feel like I'm just churning butter. Like, I know I'm making points and I'm, you know, I'm doing okay, but like it's just annoying to not get anywhere. Oh my god. Really? What the fuck just happened here? Like, did this guy sit down and lose? He sat down with $4, lost $3.80 in a hand, right? Yeah. What the fuck? And then he's just gonna sit here and jack off all day. Oh my god. Oh my god. That slowed down considerably. So I think what I'm going to do is take a little break, just because I've got a lot. Well, I had a lot out there. I had like way too much money on the tables. So, plus the games are kind of slowing for a minute. So I'm gonna end the stream for a little bit, get some food, and then come back in like an hour or so. It's not bad. Very hard for somebody to have king queen. I'll take it. So stick around for the host. Don't know if I'm doing a wake up with me tomorrow, but I'll be back later tonight, and I'll probably know better then. But I thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in a little bit. I'm just gonna eat and take a little walk around and come back in like an hour or so. So I'll see you guys in a bit.